So we're here in Denmark, super excited to be with some people who have been so kind as to host us in their space. We're actually in their old pirate radio station. Downstairs there's a show happening that we just opened for, which was super exciting, and we're going to learn a little bit about the history of the space. So if you start us off, tell us a little bit about where we are.
We are at Ungdomshuset, which translates to the youth house. It is a punk house in Copenhagen that we have had for almost 15 years. Before that, we had another house, also called Ungdomshuset, that got evicted, and then we fought very hard and got this new space.
So tell us about how we got the new space.
Well, the old space actually used to be a people's palace from the late 19th century. Apparently, Clara Zetkin founded the International Women's Workers' Day there, the 15th of March. And it, as the labor movement got weaker, it kind of got abandoned and given over to the municipality. And then in 1982, there was what's called the second wave of occupation, like political occupations in Copenhagen. The first one were called the Slum Stormers, and Christiania is a survivor of that,
Right.
has been holding on ever since.
Wonderful history there.
Absolutely. And linked movements, definitely. And then in 1982, squatters would occupy this old space on Jagtvej 69. And made it into an autonomous space for decades. But then, unfortunately, in 2007, that space got evicted.
So tell me a little bit about that eviction process.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I can go for that. So I was part of that eviction process as well. So the house was sold to a foundation that was later turned over to be a Christian sect, like hardcore Christian people, and they wanted us gone, no matter how many people got hurt, and the police and the politicians were, they wanted that as well. So there was a long tension for years with trials and peaceful demonstrations, and a lot of activism, trying to keep the house peacefully. And then in 2006, the final straw was in the courthouse that said we had to be evicted. And then we just waited, basically, and prepared for the eviction that everybody knew would happen. And then that was in March of 1st of March 2007.
And how nasty was that? Was that a violent process, or?
So I was woken up by a police helicopter. I lived right next door. Actually, it was a military helicopter that dropped special forces down on the roof. They also had police in a container that was lifted up through a crane, and then they blew in some of the wall. And then they tear gassed every floor, and they also used this foam you use to put out fires just to pacify everybody, and they filled every room with that shit. I wasn't in the house. I was waking up just outside the house and was too late because, it was crawling with police all around. Ran down and felt like, now we just got to try to get back in the house. So there was a lot of waves trying to storm back and forth into the house. A lot of people got hurt. A lot of people got arrested. And
how long did that take? Was that how many hours?
Well, this started in like 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And it never stopped for days.
So 100 hours?
Continuous riots for, I would say, 3 days, yes. There were a lot of things going on, but it was not only around the house, because this had not just become, this was now a movement and not just a fight for this one place. This was like, they are trying to kill the culture around this place. And that was so devastating to all of Copenhagen, because this was not just a place for punk music and People's Kitchen. It was also like a symbol of like the underground movement as a whole. So that was so devastating. So there was not just riots one place, there was riots all over Copenhagen. And that was just the first like 3 days, I would say. Then the organization went to, okay, what are we going to do to get a new house? So it was decided that we would have one demonstration each week at Thursday at 5 p.m. And that kept going. I can't remember for how many demonstrations, but I think it was 70 weeks straight. Some of them were quite peaceful. Some of them were quite violent, either of our choosing or by the police choosing. Most often the latter. So there was a lot of violence, and there were so many different kinds of demonstrations. There were a lot of occupations, a lot of them. Also, especially one where we had 10,000 people trying to take this space called Grøndalsvinge Allé, or G13. And that was, I don't think there's ever been thrown so much tear gas in the Danish history. So that was wild. That specific demonstration, because they saw that so many people wanted a new space, was actually the catalyst that gave us, what do you call it?
Means of negotiation?
Means of negotiation, thank you.
Or leverage. Yeah.
Leverage, exactly. To negotiate with the municipality, who then eventually, when we kind of threatened to do the same thing against the municipality that we just did with that house, then they gave us this house. And
so do you have a theory, or do you have any information about who it was or what group it was that pushed that agenda to say, we need to shut this down, we need for this to stop? And what was it that sort of allowed for that decision to be okay in sort of the common social space?
Well, I think a lot of the way it wasn't. I think like a vast majority of like random citizens was like, why are you doing this again? Like, this seems unnecessary. The youth house was not just a space for like the activists. A lot of people came to the youth house or played concerts there or just came by when they were drunk. And so we also brought like a lot of people knew about it or had some sort of memory or connection to it.
It's a safe space.
Yeah. Or like, maybe your kids used to go there, or one time your band when you were in high school played there, or like there's like most people in Copenhagen had some sort of memory with it.
A cultural touchstone.
Yes. And then also like it was as my comrade was talking about, it's like a historically significant building.
Right.
And just, like in Denmark we have a thing like we don't tear down significant buildings. We try to keep them. And so a lot of people were also like angry about that. And also because in the beginning it was mostly peaceful. Like the activism that was done for keeping the house was very peaceful. And I think that brought a lot of people. There was also like unlimited amounts of different kinds of activism that was done to keep it. There was people who went out to schools and talked with students and was like, hey, this is happening. This is not cool.
Wow.
If you disagree with this, come join us. There was theaters, there was concerts, there was soup kitchens. Quite a few different famous Danish artists made like a song together about saving the youth house. And like it was very... Everybody kind of agreed that it was nice. And then I think we kind of lost some of that momentum when the riots started turning sour. And then people were like, well, you maybe shouldn't throw rocks.
Right. There's always those people who are a little shy when things get messy. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think the general population of Denmark like the concept of it also because like having a bunch of punks loose in the city is not very nice. It's nicer to just like they have their space and then
just let's set them aside and it'll be fine, right? It's a different energy when you let everybody off the leash.
Yeah, because then like after they evicted the house, you just ended up having a lot of punks angry around the city.
Yeah,
and that was not very favorable.
Probably not. So, do you have a theory of any sort as to, considering the fact that clearly this was an error and that the majority of the population saw it as such, what was the thing that started it? Who was it or what was it? Or is it still a mystery as to who it was who signed the form or stamped the order to let something like that happen?
I mean, I can venture some guesses, and correct me if I'm veering off course, but I think there was a large political change actually after the 9/11 attacks. I mean, the whole world was paying attention to that, and the far right in Denmark, what's called the Danish People's Party, which is, I guess you would call it a right populist party. They were able to capitalize on this and were weighing heavier in the political landscape. We don't have a winner-takes-all system of elections. We have coalition governments.
Right.
So any ruling party will have to compose with smaller parties, and they suddenly had a lot more weight.
Yeah.
And I think that put on the agenda the will to normalize these marginals. And then I think
Did that set the stage for other raids against other marginalized populations?
Well, we spoke of Christiania earlier, and definitely that also, there was a political will to normalize Christiania, which
kind of happened, yeah?
Yes, but it's still there.
It's still there, which like warms my heart so much. Like I remember seeing Christiania when I was in graduate school here, and I just wandered in by chance. I thought, what is going on? I was so happy, and so I'm really glad that it's still alive.
It's been an ongoing negotiation, and with recent developments too, they were just allowed to actually buy back the land.
But they only bought back part of it, right? They didn't get all of it?
As long as they accepted some social housing on the ground, and the city authorities have said that their attitude towards letting the community have a say in who gets to live in those social housing, that they fit in with the specific social character of the space, there should be some common decision there, but we'll see how that develops, and that can also change depending on who's in power when.
Right, but that's really promising. Again, so hopeful. Or I'm hopeful.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think if we weren't a bit utopian, all of us, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing, right?
Sure,
so
of course.
I think, we've always got hope, but sometimes I think history has taught us to be wary too. And yeah, I think the will to push the old youth house further out of the center was definitely an intent to gentrify. If you get undecided populations out, then you can replace them with people who have high incomes. You can, you can get more taxes from them, and then you can do more politically because you have more funds, and then you get to pat yourself.
The cycle continues, yes, of course.
And yeah, but we've actually just buried that mayor last year, this year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe you can tell us a little more about what's happened since the move. Now that, and this place is huge. Like, I've been in some punk houses in my time, and this one you could get lost in.
Yeah, it's I still get lost sometimes, and I've been a part of it for 15 years, but it's
how great, right?
It's amazing. It's
a maze.
Oh, nice.
Best pun of the day. But yeah, it's so cool to be able to house so many different events and so many different groups in one house. So we don't have to spread it out. We have so many different things here. We have like a full professional kitchen here. We have 2 concert halls. We have a library. We have a creative area. We have sleeping area for bands.
Thanks for that, by the way.
Yeah. We have a gym. It's really amazing because that makes us able to do a lot of things in the same place and not have to spread it out and to feel like a community and create a safe space, really.
That's fucking wonderful. I love that. And I think spaces like this are so important, not just for what they do, but what they show to other spaces, saying what's possible. I think that's really underrated a lot of times when people say, what are you doing to show that it's possible to do things like this, and say, look, you can do it too. Try it. It's hard, but it's worth it.
I mean, there's so much trial and error here, and there's a constant change of generations. It's called the youth house, and that is sometimes very literally what it is. There is a huge new young generation coming in right now, which is absolutely amazing for someone a bit older or one of the activists who have been here longer, to see that there are still people who want to do this, and the young generation, they really want to do stuff and they want to learn on their own sometimes, and that's a struggle.
Yeah.
But it's also fucking amazing because that's how I wanted to learn back in the day.
And also, you know that they're going to learn things that we haven't learned yet.
Exactly.
You know? We're gonna get new stuff, and it's always important to have a good turnover and trust that the new blood's gonna figure some shit out.
Exactly. It's so important.
Yeah. So maybe tell us a little bit about some dreams for what's next.
Well, like practically for the house, we're working towards.
We're getting an extension. Right?
Yeah, right. So this floor that we're on right now is mostly just band rehearsal rooms. And we're working on getting those moved out to some containers out in the yard. It's a long process, but we're working on it. And so that kind of leaves us with an entire floor to figure out what we want to do with. And so we've been talking about having a cinema. There's also everybody has some sort of idea about what they want up here. I'm on the cinema boat. I think it'd be fucking cool.
Well, if you have a cinema, I think we might have something we can send you to watch.
Yeah, and then I think kind of like getting back on our feet after COVID. Like we usually have like a people leave, people come kind of vibe, but it's always kind of stable. There's always kind of like it evens out in the end kind of vibe. But then COVID came and a lot of people left, or well,
of course,
COVID. And no one came in because the house was closed. We went into lockdown during COVID. And so as new people, they couldn't really come in. And so we're still working on getting on our feet from that. But I'm optimistic. I think it kind of felt like being in a slum for a while after COVID. But I'm seeing the table starting to turn, and that's really fucking exciting.
Cool. Yeah, good. Let me know if you decide to build a hospital.
I mean, no joke. I mean, there's gonna be space, and it's gonna be what people make of it.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
And for example, we have the maker space, like our fab lab. That's because people saw an empty space and were like, we want to do something with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe.
If that happens, you know,
sure.
Call me. I know some people.
Yeah, bring in the biopunks. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, forever. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. Thanks so much for having us. And I hope we come back.
Yeah, feel so welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime.
All right, great. Well, thanks again so much. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Hopefully.
See ya. Safe trip.
So I want to talk a bit about the action that was called G13. That was the squad action that we tried to do to get the house we're in now. It ended up being 10,000 people trying to squat a place.
10,000?
10,000 people. So at least. And I was part of a group within a group, I guess. We were called the sabotage group.
Good name.
Good, very. It was also very literally because we had to the function we had was to open up the house or the houses, because it was like a mini version of Christiania out there, with like how the layout of the houses out there with grass in between and stuff. So it's multiple houses. Anyway, we were out there cutting fences. We were out there making sure that the police and the guards out there didn't put up blockades on the windows so we could get into the houses. And we did this months in advance with a constant cat and mouse fight between us and the police. So at some point we figured out that there were going to be 4 blocks in this demonstration that went out to the place. And each block had to go through a different route and a different tactic to get in. One of the tactics involved getting in from the side. So just to lay it out, there's a train track running here. We have a very steep hill with trees on it, then a grassy area with a path down it. So we were just so scared that the police could just park 2 police vans and then the whole block would just be flawed. So we were thinking, how do we stop a police car? And we were like, maybe some partisan nails. But we were like, oh, a dog couldn't step on it, so we couldn't do that. So we were like, okay, what do we do then? So we decided to dig a moat. So we dug a moat, actually. We went out there a few days before in the middle of the night. Actually, before that, we measured a police van, how far there was between the tires. So that we couldn't the actual path, we couldn't dig there. It was concrete or too hard or something. But we figured out the path was too small. It couldn't be on the path. Then we went out and dug like 2 different moats, middle of the night. And I think we were saying, okay, is it deep enough? Are we finished with this project? When we then got spotted by a random police car who were in the area, I guess, that started driving down this park path, so weird, with a flashlight against us, and everybody ran. And got away. Me and a Greek guy, I don't remember his name even, but we stopped because we were like, we dug a moat. So actually they're not supposed to be able to get past here. And I guess they didn't expect the moat because they drove right into it with their front wheels and they got stuck. And we were, well, mocking them, and then they tried to run after us and we got away. But yeah, and apparently the day after, or 2 days after, the demonstration was there, the block that was supposed to go in there, they said there was no police cars, so it did work. It was fucking amazing.
Beautiful.
And the best part is when instead of covering up the holes with the earth that we put like right next to it, the police chose instead to cut down some of the forest that was right next to go around instead of just putting the earth back in, like in a perfectly half circle around. Just, it was ridiculous to look at. We got into the house, but they were waiting with us with police dogs and so many riot cops. We got into most of the houses and we didn't hold it for long, but it was a very symbolic thing, and by far the best part of activism I've ever done.
Well, thank you for sharing the story. That's a wonderful win. And I hope we have many more of those to come.
Yeah, me too.